Are we good?
You
Are
know,
things happening?
Good doesn't even describe what we are.
Does that mean we're a long way from good? Or
Oh, we're good is in our rearview mirror miles ago.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Here we go again. Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Now, you know, we are coming up on a 5-year mark pretty soon, guys.
Wow.
We're getting there. Yeah, we're getting close. Me and
That's
Kristen were
crazy.
talking about it.
You and I were just talking about that earlier this week.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
I think somebody needs to send us some. I don't know. I was thinking a bottle of champagne, but you can't ship that. So cookies, brownies,
Yeah, something.
So like the 5-year anniversary is. I know the 25 is silver, the 50 is gold. I think the 5 is cookies.
Yeah. Specifically shortbread. Yeah.
Shortbread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, golly gee, yeah, almost 5 years, man. Almost 5 years.
When's the
Yeah,
anniversary?
it's so, Carl. I think we technically started and launched as Loan Officer Breakfast Club in August of whatever year that was, and I think it was August. But remember, I got COVID. Like like the next day, like we did 2 shows, and I got COVID and I was out for 2 weeks. Remember, I had to go to the hospital, the whole thing. And
Yeah,
then,
I do remember.
Yeah, and so then boom, we
You were in August, and then I started in October.
October, right? So we kind of really September was when we were in the full swing of things, and then you came on in October. But yeah, this year's 5 years. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
A lot of time. Yeah, we're in season 5.
Yeah. And Frank hasn't had a 2-week holiday since.
Yeah, right. Well, I never. It's true. You think about that. I mean, yeah, that was my only 2-week holiday.
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah. But anyways, well, good. Glad everybody's here today. Got Owen Lee in the house. That's usually pretty entertaining.
I don't think there's really anything. There's nothing really in the news to talk about that I was just kind of, Googling what's happening in the world today. It was like, man, it was crickets. It was like nothing.
Yeah.
Financial markets very boring right now.
Yeah. Nothing really going on there. No all-time highs. Nothing. But it's just like, hey, the good news, our 401ks are doing really, really, really well. All kidding aside. And when I say all of ours,
things are looking good there.
They are. Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Hey, you know what we should do real quick?
Tell me.
We should say hi to Kelly Dutton. Oh, look at that! Right as she's putting her Bloody Mary to her face there out in Arizona. Hey, we can't hear you, Kelly. Are you there?
Did I unmute?
Oh yeah, you are. Okay, we got you. Yeah, I just want to say good morning to you and just remind everybody Kelly's here. She's helping a lot of us with commercial deals. They're rocking and rolling, Kelly Dutton. I tell you guys, the whole residential thing, how it can be a little topsy-turvy sometimes and things go great and then they don't, and then they're back and then they're gone, and then, all that. Same thing in the commercial world. It's just same stuff. Same world. Right, Kelly?
Right. I'm just going to give you a little update. It's rocky. I'm just not going to lie to you. Commercial is a roller coaster, but in the next 30 days, it's at a 13 million pipeline on closing. So
nice.
So I decided we had a talk the other day, and I'm like, I better get that out and figure out where it is, because I feel like a one-armed paper hanger right now. So had to be a reason.
Well, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, we just want to say thanks for everything. If you need Kelly's help, she'll drop. You can go to workwithoneclick.com if you need, if you need a commercial outlet. If you don't normally do those things, just want somebody to take care of it and, get a little referral fee, a little scratch on it. You can do that through Kelly. Workwithoneclick.com. Kelly can throw your email in the chat too, or your phone number if you guys need help with that. If you've got questions for her, drop it in there. But Owen's on a short leash today. So we want to get moving. We want to get moving right along. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna move to Mr. Owen Lee.
He's got to go mow his yard. His wife told him, the lovely Mrs. Lee said, you need to get out there and mow the yard. And he said, okay, I gotta go.
And you must start by 9 o'clock.
You must start by 9 o'clock. So
yeah. Well, good morning, Owen.
I mowed the lawn once when I was a kid. And my dad came out and looked at it. and he said, "We're going to find some other chores."
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe do
Have you ever
something
thought of
better.
you ever thought about being an attorney? Maybe it might be a better route for you.
I did a lot of
Right.
garage sweeping and basement cleaning, but I was never good with mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
So anyway, well,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of interesting stuff going on. It was a great week. Just back from Washington D.C. last night, and we had 600 people in Washington D.C. for the National Advocacy Conference. 335 meetings on Capitol Hill yesterday. So we
Wow.
really showed out for the mortgage industry. That was absolutely fantastic.
Dang.
So, but we're going to talk about that in a future week because I've got some news. The NBA came out with some updated economic and financial things. I've got one slide in particular that I think would be great for everybody to send to all of their pre-approved and looking and whatnot. So we'll get to that in a second, but. Let's just take our quick look at the market snapshot. I don't know if we can, Jen, if you want to throw that up there. All right, so this is what we've got, right? We've still got a lot of news, but the market has become a little bit jaded about war news. We now don't go up and go down with every single headline because if
Mm.
we just take a look at some of the headlines, um, we've got, 2 week ceasefire, and then that's almost over, and then we almost have a deal, and then we don't have a deal. You know, Trump says he's going to fire Powell. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but the the Department of Justice is investigating Powell for negligence, like criminal negligence for the cost overruns on the new building. Okay. And he is fighting that. And there's a senator that's not going to advance Trump's new Fed governor until he pulls that back. So that's a little interesting thing. So Powell said he's going to stay till the new governor's confirmed. This would have driven the headlines crazy, you know, if there was no Iran-Iraq war, but we're kind of getting
Mm.
headline fatigue. So we're not going up, we're not going
Mm.
down as much as we have before. We got oil fluctuating up to 105, down to 90. So yet the S&P 500 hit a record yesterday. So like Carl was talking about, that's pretty darn good for all of our 401ks. So anyway, if we could just get to the next slide, I've got something special for all you children of the 80s here. We got our UMBS chart, right? For those John Bon Jovi fans out there. We're halfway back to where we were
Halfway
the last
there.
February. We're living on a prayer. So, but if you look at that, we've recovered. I think the market thinks that Iran is only going to go on so long. They'll come to some kind of negotiated settlement. We'll be able to pull out of there. The Straits of Hormuz will reopen. That's kind of what's priced in to the market right now. We've hung on to some gains through some moderate headlines. So I think that's kind of where the thinking is coalesced. So if it really descends into something much worse, obviously the market's going to worsen. But we are where we are right now. So anyway, if we could just go to the next slide. Okay, so next Fed meeting is coming up in about 2 weeks. Right now, everybody believes that they're just going to keep it the same for probably the next 2 or 3 meetings. And that probably is the right call. You have, the higher oil prices for 6 weeks now. That could cause some residual inflation. This isn't a 2 to 3 week thing anymore. And so that's going to stay in the market, and they're going to wait. They're going to wait about 3 to 4 months to see whether or not any new inflation numbers come in. That's the thinking right now. I don't see much that's going to change that. So anyway, can we just go to the next slide real quick?
If you're getting value from this already, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more loan officers find content that actually makes a difference. And hey, if staying ahead of the market and learning what's really working in our industry matters to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. We read every comment, so drop your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you and know what's working or what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time.
So the MBA came out with some revised financial numbers. And so this is really where we are. And it really hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. You can see in comparison to the old chart, probably the only thing of note here is they did bump the interest rates. They've got the interest rates basically fluctuating between 6 and 6.5. For the foreseeable future, honestly, for the next 2.5 years. And I don't think you can really accurately predict more than once, 6-9 months at a time, but they do have to project these things out. Fannie Mae does it, Freddie Mac does it. So, the MBA is a little bit higher than some of the other ones, but they're looking at like 6 to 6.5 for the next 3 years. So, and that's really good for us, I think. I still think you can make a lot of money at 6.25, and, historically, we talk about this a lot. That's pretty low. I don't really see it going much up or down. I do think if this thing ends 3 to 4 months later, we could get back into the high fives, but we'll see about that. But here's one thing that I wanted to can we go to the next slide, Jen? Okay, we'll just take a look at this one more slide. We've got gradual, this is purchase closings, existing and new home sales. So you can see they're still moderately bullish about that, about a 5% increase from where we are. It's still a little bit challenged. I personally think these purchase numbers are a little bit low. I think if we could get down near 6, I think we could really, really push it out a little bit more. Obviously, we're not going to get to the pandemic levels, but I do think we might be able to get closer to the pre-pandemic levels. So, but this is the purchase numbers and the both existing and new. Coming out, they're at about a 6% increase each of the next 3 years. So, and we are starting to get 10, 15, 20% better than where we were in the immediate aftermath, 2022, 2023. So, we're going to go from there. So let's go to the next one. And I think this is the one that you really want to try and share. It's a little bit busy as a chart, but if you look at this is a home affordability chart, and it does kind of tell a story. It goes back about 15 years, and you can track home affordability since then. And so just going across, if you look at when the pandemic hit, right? And you had this gigantic increase because of home appreciation, and then when interest rates went up. But just look at it from March of 2022 to now. From March of 2022 to now, home affordability has improved by about 15 to 20%. And so when you look at, is this a good time to buy? We talked about this last week. Home affordability is not going back to what it was in 2018. It's not going back to what it was in 2017. And it's certainly not going back to what it was in 2012 and 2013. So when you just look at this recent past, this is yet another chart that tells the story that we are in the best home affordability market in the past 4 years, literally since March of 2022. And we're down about 15 to 20%. So if you've got those potential borrowers out there who are saying, hey, what about, I'll do it when interest rates come down a little bit. I'll do it when there's more inventory on the market. I'll do it when I'm feeling a little bit more solid. This is solid. We've had a 15 to 20% improvement in these home affordability numbers. And so this is the chart that I would really take. I'd put your information on it. I'd put it in the upper left-hand corner, and I would just go with it. I would send it to your pre-approved and looking. I would send it to your realtors. This is the best talking point for realtors right here. And I'm sure they have a lot of not pre-approved and looking, but I'm sure they have a lot of prospects, and they have a prospect pool that they keep in touch with. They should send them this, right? All over the Southeast, all over the West, home prices are flat to being down 2, 3, 4, 5%. Interest rates are at their mostly lower point in the lowest point in the last 4 years. So unless you're planning to wait a decade or two, or from some worldwide, catastrophic economic event, this is where we're going to be, and this is a good time to buy right now. And I just think as an industry, we really have to get out there and tell that story. I think that is the most important thing that we can do right now. So can we go? I think I've got one more slide. Origination dollar volume. We looked at this slide about 10 weeks ago. They decreased it just a little bit due to the increased interest rates. You can't go from essentially 6 to 6.5, and then 6 3/8, 6 1/4, and not be affected by it a little bit. So they just went from increase in 8% to an increase in 6%. So these are all looking at where they think the year is going to end up overall. And again, you go over to the right, they're looking at about a 5% increase every year. So, that's going to be good for us. But 7 to 8% this year. So we'll go from there. So that's what I got this morning.
Nice refi volume, heading forward.
That refi volume, you gotta stay on it. I know Carl has got a great mailer and a great protocol for that. You really have to do it, because as we saw, interest rates came down to 6, refi started to really go, and then we had a war start, or major military action, or whatever we want to call it. And so if you were operating that program in November and December, you reaped the benefits almost immediately in January, February, and March. But then it ended. For every eighth, something like 1.5 million homes go out of the money for refinance. So that's something you really got to be operating all the time. And now is a great time to start, because if the war, or the major military action, or whatever you want to call it, ends on some kind of permanent basis, and then 2 to 4 weeks later, the market starts to trust it, oil continues to come down, you got to do that work now so that you're ready to go with prospects when you can lock them in at something a little bit lower. So,
yeah, guys, go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to let everybody know, to get Owen's slides, just go to owensslides.com. Owensslides.com. Justine put the link in there. You go there. Everybody always asks, do I got to put my name in every time? Yeah, you do, because it's a renew upload every time for us. So it's just not an auto send thing. It's a you go get it thing, not a we send it to you thing. So that's why you got to do that. And then, oh, and I do have
You
one
actually
quick.
have to lift your finger to get results.
Yeah, you have to push a couple of buttons.
You
Yeah,
have to push a button to get your coffee in the morning. Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was going to ask
So much
Owen,
work.
yeah, Owen. So it's interesting that, like you were saying, that the market's kind of getting numb to the headlines, and that's interesting. So does that now that kind of means that, I guess what you're saying is, like, there's a bunch of crazy headlines. Of course, it could be some catastrophic headline that could cause a reaction, right? But right now the focus of the market's really just coming back to whatever the economic data is that we get all the time. They're just kind of focusing on that, huh?
Yeah, the inflation numbers have been a little bit elevated. You're not going to get no inflation when oil goes from 65 a barrel to 105 a barrel, because oil affects everything, right? When it comes to inflation, but they have been muted from what they thought. And if they can get out of this relatively quickly, quite frankly, if they get the Straits of Hormuz operating again, I don't think oil's going back down to 65, but I think it could go back down to, I don't know, 80-ish. This is just from some things I read. I'm not an economist or anything.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
eases the pressure on inflation, which eases the pressure on interest rates. So, I don't see us, yes, there could be some things happen where we bounce back to 6.5. I think that's kind of the ceiling, because I don't see this thing, or I should say, the perception of this thing getting any worse than it was 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I think the market's starting to trust it a little bit.
Mm.
And I
Very,
did
very
see
cool.
one comment in the chat. All these slides are from the NBA, except for the first couple ones. The NBA doesn't like the Bon Jovi slide, so that one was just me. But it's really the NBA's prediction where they're at right now.
Okay. Cool. Carl, you had something, and then Brad's got his hand up, and then we want to check in with Chris Johnstone before we get out of here too, to see what's happening tomorrow. So, Carl.
I was just saying, Owen, this is a topic, and maybe this is better saved for like next week. I was wanting to do this sooner than later. Is you're going to give Chris a run for his money on the nerd award today.
Yeah, I tell you, we started something very special. It's spreading like wildfire and inside of our company. We've got a 24/7 pre-qual hotline
Oh, neat.
that we rolled out, and we're on like version 3.0, and it's really, really good. And what happens is, loan officers call in, or I'm sorry, not loan officers, but you publish the number. Everybody inside of our company's got their own unique number, and it's their 24/7 pre-qual hotline. An AI bot picks up the phone, immediately identifies itself as AI and working for you as your assistant, but then takes you through about a 10 to 12 question process and potentially spits out a pre-qualification letter, assuming the answers are,
Accurate.
accurate or thumbs up. Basically,
Yeah.
the math works. All the questions were put together by Allison. You guys know Allison a little bit, the honey badger. She's a 25-year underwriter, and we are getting a lot of prospects, and we're having loan officers that see deals in their pipeline where they haven't even talked to the people, because the AI bot will send the person a link to the point of sale system, and they'll go on and fill it out, and then it populates an Encompass, and it's very exciting. We started this year, Carl. I know you helped me with this. Our mantra this year is more conversations, more applications, more closings, more commission checks.
There you go.
And this thing is really doubling down on more conversations.
Yeah, and
So
Owen and I,
we're gonna demo it sometime pretty soon.
yeah, Owen and I did a podcast on it that just dropped, I think, yesterday. And so if you go to Loan Officer Freedom Podcast, you can hear about a 30-minute podcast on it. It's very interesting stuff on how this thing takes an application. And Owen and I talked about, well, wait a minute, wouldn't it be better if I take the application? And the answer we came up with was, of course, but what if it's Thursday evening and you're at the movie? What if
Mm-hmm.
it's Saturday morning and you're at the kids' baseball game? What if
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching at the Realtors Association? Would you rather them hit you? Would you rather them get a voicemail, or would you rather them take an application?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or
Yeah.
what would the consumer prefer? A voicemail or moving forward?
Moving
And
forward.
I tell you, I think these types of things are a game changer. Where loan officers, I think they're using AI for marketing, and come to find out, maybe it's also good for the loan officer to be marketing and the AI to be doing the application. I'll take an application. I mean, let's be honest. We can hire any qualified legal to do this high school kid per se. I'm saying that tongue in cheek.
Right.
To take an application, because you're about name, address, how long you lived there.
Yeah.
This is not hard stuff.
Yeah.
And so use AI to do that while the human is out there, doing the talking and the marketing,
Yeah. Shaking
the meet
hands.
and greet, shaking hands, right? God, that's where the money is, and it's just kind of a little pivot on everything. It's just very interesting. There's a lot should be revealed on this going forward, but it's a very interesting thing.
And I saw a question or two in the chat. Basically, we put the phone number on absolutely everything for the loan officer, the promotional materials, the open house flyers, the email signature lines, the websites, everywhere you can. And of course, we send out drip campaigns and Total Expert and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yeah. And Clay asked, what's driving them to the hotline? That's the whole point. Your marketing.
That's
Like,
right.
like
You
your
are.
marketing. Yeah. And it's just a fascinating thing where you don't do it instead of calling me. You do this like after hours, or if our phone, like if we're out doing something, if I'm a one woman or one man shop, and I
Yeah.
take the day off or something like that. It's a fascinating thing. It's more to be a
Yeah,
boss.
listen to the podcast. I'm not sure we're 100% doing it justice, but
You guys aren't. I listened to the podcast this morning and I was like, oh my goodness. I put a link in the chat for anybody who wants to grab the whole podcast.
The podcast will be on the email that goes out today too. I'll make sure that podcast is there. Also, the link to Owen slides will be there. I guess we haven't got it quite updated yet, so that should be by the time you get the email. But I know, Owen, you got to run. We got Brad with his hand up. Go, Brad, real
Hold on,
fast. So, Owen,
real
you go.
quick.
You guys gotta go.
Gang,
Owen,
I got to get in on this. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Chris.
demoed all of this stuff. I build this stuff, and what Owen and his team has built is best in class. It is literally the best pre-app AI that I've
ever
experienced.
Nice.
So
that's a high compliment coming from you, Chris. Thank you.
it's unbelievable what you guys have done, Owen. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
It means a lot coming from you. Hey, Owen, I know you got to bug out, so if you need to bug out, you go ahead, go, buddy.
Brad, you got a 30-second question?
Just 2 seconds.
So
Yeah.
Owen, that slide that had the median incomes, and you say it's the affordability of homes, I think it was from March of 22 where it kind of blew up.
Mhm.
Is that suggesting that everybody's income went up at that point?
No, those aren't really incomes. That's an index, Brad. So it's a mostly about home prices and home mortgage interest rates. There's some information in there about taxes and about hazard insurance, but it's not an income slide.
Hey, just as a reminder, if you're enjoying Loan Officer Breakfast Club here on YouTube, you can catch our live shows. The live shows are really cool because there's oftentimes downloads and giveaways. It's really, really fun. To subscribe, you simply go to loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. That's loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. Subscribe and join us on our live shows. They're 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Hope to see you there.
Great question. We'll see you, Owen. Don't be late, buddy.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Cool, man. Cool. All right. Well, there we go. Call that a show. What do you say?
Yeah, a lot of information on that. I think the bottom line to all this, it's just go do your marketing.
Yep.
Because Kristen sent me a couple. She talks with a lot of loan officers across the nation, and was sending me all these different loan officers that are having their best month ever. And I don't mean best month like they went from 1 to 2, which is epic also. I'm not saying it's not, but like going from 4 to 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some remarkable numbers, and we're seeing that while some are saying, "Oh, geez, the sky's falling. What are we going to do? Rates are going up." Somebody else saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you're saying. I was at closing. I missed what you said. What was that you just said? I'm just coming back from another closing." And so it's you just gotta put your work hat on and grab the shovel, so, figuratively speaking, and
Make the calls.
yeah,
Have
and
the
make the calls.
conversations.
Yeah,
Ask for the business.
it's
It's out
amazing
there.
when you mine for gold. Come to find out, you get gold.
It's out
Yep.
there.
And when you
Yeah.
complain that there's no gold, well, there's no gold for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't mean there's no gold. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
All right. Wonderful stuff. Well, today is Thursday, pre-approved and looking day. Anybody want to share what we do on this day? Who we gonna pick on?
I
What
bet.
about
I bet. I bet. I bet. I bet. I just love this lady. I bet Marty Fink would love to tell us. I know we
oh,
we pick on Marty a lot, but there's a reason why. So, Marty, what do we do? Somebody that's brand new, not sure what to do, unmute yourself and if you can, unmute yourself and tell us what we do on Thursdays.
How did I know you were going to call me?
Well,
Yes, today is call your pre-approved and looking. And once you talk to them and you ask for any future business, you can touch the lead and then you touch your partner, not
I
physically.
like it. I like it.
So,
I love
and you
it.
got a Thursday text to agents too that you got to do. So, who are you
That's
working
a
with
good one
this
too.
weekend? Yeah, who are you working with this weekend? Who needs to be pre-approved and make sure it's a good use of your time.
yeah. Way to go,
Marty Guy
Marty.
Fink, everybody.
Marty's having a good month. Marty just finished up. Was it last month, this month, or it's probably every month? But I understand you had a good you got a good run going too, don't you, Marty?
Got a
Yeah,
streak
we've
going?
got so personally, I've got about right now I'm gonna close 7 for April.
Good for
And
you.
then my team is closing 14. So
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
and there's 3 of us now here in Virginia Beach. So pretty
Wow.
exciting.
Nice.
I'm
Very
very
good.
proud of them.
You should
And
be.
then hopefully we got a new loan officer coming on soon.
Good
So
for you.
Good stuff, Marty. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey.
ready.
Well, we didn't release yet that I'm getting ready to join you over there, Marty. So just kind of keep that quiet for right now, if you don't mind. So
Hey, before we get out of here,
I'm
Chris
not allowed to
Johnstone.
recruit on here, man.
yeah.
Chris, what do we got tomorrow?
So tomorrow we're going to be talking about Claude Cowork. So 2 weeks ago, Carl, I don't know if you saw this, but we kind of discovered this strategy where we asked AI to interview us about our brand and our brand standards, and then it created this document with everything about us and our mortgage business, and then we put it into the AI's memory so that it remembered everything and built everything on brand. And Cowork now has the ability to connect to all your tools. And so tomorrow, what we're going to do, Frank, is a deep dive into Claude Cowork and
Okay.
just show you how AI agents have gone from just being able to like write really cool stuff for you and do AI stuff to now actually doing the stuff that it used to tell you how to do.
Hey, Chris. So as of today, if I had to pick one tool, and I know that's like, if you had to eat one food, well, no, you have a good balanced diet, and I'm sure the same with technology, a good balanced diet, of course.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing a lot about Claude. Is GPT still kind of the go-to, or is Claude kind of taking that over a little bit?
Carl, that's a great. What's going on here?
No, if there was just a book, if there was just a book on this topic,
I'm just kidding.
I wish there was a book that told us about this.
Yeah, so Claude Cowork is absolutely 100% the more powerful tool in today's market for actually doing the work, getting work done,
Very interesting.
building tools and that sort of thing. However, 83% of consumers that are using artificial intelligence in the market today are using ChatGPT. So,
Which doesn't mean that we necessarily need to be part of that 83%. They were just first to market for the most part.
yes, but So these agents that are happening right now that are able to like access files on your computer and access your tools and do your work for you and all of that, that actually came from an open source project called OpenClaw. And the guy who released that now works at OpenAI. And they're building an agent platform behind the scenes that hasn't been released yet that is absolutely going to compete with Claude Cowork. And if what they've done in the past is any indication of what they're going to do in the future, it's likely they're going to come out with something that's just as good, if not better than that. So I'm using Claude Cowork right now because it's available. We can use it. It's amazing.
Is Claude about the same price, like $20,
Yeah.
$30, something like that?
It's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy
And
good.
so I think for doing our work, Claude Cowork is amazing. But if we're doing weekly newsletters, responding to emails, doing client communication, anything that has to do with the actual running of your mortgage business where you don't need agents and you don't need AI actually doing work for you, all of that should still be done inside ChatGPT. Because half of the goal is to do more while working less. The other half is to train ChatGPT that you are the mortgage expert in your market. So when a consumer goes to ChatGPT, does their research on buying a house, and then gets, hey, what mortgage lender should I use? It recommends your mortgage business. We have clients every week funding deals because ChatGPT is recommending them to consumers. And that's, I think, half, if not more, of the opportunity that we have in the mortgage business for AI is to get it to send us customers.
Very interesting. Good stuff, man. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Heck
Hey,
yeah.
just one last thing. Today for our members, we're doing a class called the Extreme Follow-Up, and we're going to be teaching two things. We're going to be teaching, we always get that question, how often do I follow up with a lead, and when are you a pest, and
Yeah.
how often, and then same thing with my referral partners. How often? What's too often? What's not often enough? Do you text? Do you email? Do you call? Like what's the mixture of it? And so we're going to be mapping that out both for your referrals and then for your referral partners. We're going to be giving the complete framework of exactly what we do. And we call it the 25, 50, 75, 100 framework. And we're going to be mapping that out for members. So good stuff. Be sure to be there.
Awesome.
Very,
Hey,
very cool.
Chris, will you be putting a pre-approval agent into the AI CRM?
So, Brad, we can't because we can't connect to your loan application system in the
Oh,
background.
oh,
For
got it.
clients of ours that have invested in the integrations, yes, but as like a general overall tool inside the Loan Officer AI CRM, no. But I am working on something in the background that is going to tackle that problem in the future.
Yeah, what
Got
it'll
it.
do
Okay,
is
thanks.
it'll scan their credit card numbers, and then you can sell that information. You can sell that information on the dark web.
No, that
really big money. Really
that
big
the
money.
thing,
So if
that,
you're
the
looking for
thing that Owen was talking about is fascinating.
it's pretty cool.
They've done an amazing job.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It is. It's interesting. I love it all. Bring the robot, man. That's what I say. I want the robot. Let's get one. Hey, man, you guys have a fantastic Thursday. Go get them. Pre-approved and looking. Thanks for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. As always, we'll see you here tomorrow with Chris Johnstone. We'll learn about Cowork and Claude. You guys have a great day. See ya. Adios.
Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.